I'm thrilled to introduce our next guest, ABSA executive James Noble, who joins us to chat about how significant franchising has become in South Africa and, more importantly, how it can be a vital contributor to our country's economy. James, welcome to the show.
Good day, and thank you for having me.
Now, I'm just going to start off with a very big question. What exactly is franchising? How big is it in South Africa? And how does it contribute to our economy?
So franchising is a business model within the wholesale and retail industry or sector. The franchisor is normally the institution or owner of the brand, or the individual or company that started the brand. And then you have the franchisee. They are actually the ones doing the hard work. They purchase the franchise rights from the franchisor and they operate the business. When you look at the size of the industry and the contribution of franchising to the industry, it has grown significantly over the last 20, 30 years. If you just look at over the last 10 years, the contribution to GDP increased from 10% to roughly about 15% currently. Also, over the last 4 years, the turnover growth in this industry increased from 750 billion to nearly 1 trillion. So it's quite significant.
Those numbers are absolutely incredible, just to see the rise of franchising in South Africa. Now, can you just share a little bit more about the Franchising Association of South Africa survey that was sponsored by ABSA, that was shared in the FASA conference?
Some of the outcomes was the significant growth that we've seen from a turnover perspective. But other than that, the number of franchise systems actually decreased a little bit. And also the number of franchisees remained more or less flat. Despite franchising being a very successful business model, they are also facing quite a lot of challenges. They were quite hard hit by COVID. And recently now, with electricity shortages and load shedding that we're experiencing, it does have a significant impact on the profitability of businesses. But the success rate is still much better than independent businesses that does not have a brand.
Interesting to know. And what are some of those other trends and challenges that you found within the franchising industry?
From a banking perspective, it then becomes also very difficult for us to overgear these businesses. Let's say pre-28, it was very easy to finance a business up to 80% of the setup cost. Now we are very stringent on owner's contribution, and even the franchisors, when franchisees approach them, they would like them to have some skin in the game. So they must have about 40-50% cash contribution. So therefore, it is important that you manage your expenses in your business very, very well to keep that profitability up.
Interesting insights, James. Thank you for that. And if you can just continue to break down a little further the finances that go into franchising.
All the banks across the industry is more favorable when it comes to franchise businesses and the funding of franchise businesses, due to the success rate of them being much higher than independent businesses. So when we as a bank look at a client, obviously we look at their experience from a business perspective. We also look at the industry that they operate within, because there's quite a lot of industries and some of them experience different growth patterns, like restaurants and quick service restaurants were hit quite hard during COVID, but now post-COVID you see significant growth in that environment. It's also not cheap to set up a franchise business. You need to follow the franchisor's rules and their governance, but it does come with greater success than independent business.
Interesting. Now, how can I ensure that I'm working with an ethical franchisor, that I don't have to fear them running away with my money after I've made that cash investment?
There's basically 2 points where one can go to. The one is the Franchise Association of South Africa. They do promote franchising in general in South Africa, but also very importantly, ethical franchising. I think it's very important that you want to know, if you invest your cash into a business, that no one is going to run away with your cash. But I think another stop or safety measure is to deal with the banks. Most of the banks have franchise divisions, and we have dealings with all the franchise businesses in the country. And we know which ones is ethical and which ones you can do business with, and who are the ones that you need to stay away from, and to make sure that you take that stress out of the whole process.
I cannot wait to continue this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, James.
Thank you.
For more information and updates, keep an eye on ABSA's contributions to South Africa's franchise industry. Thank you, Mzansi, for joining us today. And do remember, the future of franchising in South Africa is brighter than ever.